Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Marvel Snap Snapchat. I'm joined today, as always, by none other than Cozy Snap. Cozy, how you doing today, buddy?
What's up, man? Happy 2023. First episode of the year. Doing great, man. We've got solid topics to talk about today. A lot of different conversations. I know we're always trying to keep the topics somewhat up to date, but man, these are going to be good to break down.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so much happening in Marvel Snap right now. I actually had the thought the other night. I was like, you know what? I'm glad this featured location is a bit of a nothing burger because there's way too much happening right now. The featured location was something wild. I think it would have been overload for us. So I'm really glad that I think the development team was like, maybe we do this one this week with all the changes we've made. But yeah, there's a whole bunch happening in Marvel Snap right now. And Cozy, we just finished recording your side. So why don't you give us a breakdown of what we talked about on your channel?
Yeah, I'm actually just now looking at what I look like. I have a black shirt on, guys. I look like I'm the guy that does the tree on plays, like I'm supposed to blend in behind everything. I think that's my next calling. But anyway, on my channel, we're going to be talking about the best Zabu counters and then also the combos that are absolutely crazy to run with them. We go through a lot of forecast cards. Excited for you guys to hear about that. January brought new cards coming to the game. We have 4 of them dropping, 2 of which are just completely looking crazy. And then the other 2 look pretty good, but we'll talk about those as well. And then the patch notes, guys, were leaked. We got ourselves a confirmation by Ben Bro that the leaks are true. All of it, as Han Solo would say. And we're going to talk about the card balances and look at, judge the early where they're going to go. It's exciting to see. I think some of them are interesting, and you guys can find out more on my side.
Absolutely. And for those that are new, we are going to be linking Cozy's video at the end of this one, and it's going to be available in the comment section and in the description. So keep an eye out for that second half of this companion video. Anyways, let's talk about number 1, the best Zabu decks in week 1. Now, Cozy, it's always tricky to say these are the best week 1 Zabu decks. Like, who are we to say that, right? Like, we're still figuring things out. And that's one of the amazing things about Marvel Snap is things are always changing, new metas are always emerging. But right now, it is most definitely the meta of Zabu. It has been wild out there. So we want to talk about some of the early deck lists that I think are working really well. And Cozy, why don't you start us off with one that you think is a true banger?
Yeah, so Zabu brought in just so much viability because it's not just forecast, right? Like people are kind of just thinking it's only about the forecast cards, but it's what archetypes those fit in and kind of open up the rest of it. Obviously, discard is one that we should open with. It's not my favorite one that I'm playing with currently. Those 2 I'll talk about in a second. Truly though, Alex, I think that discard is the winner as far as just opening up some solutions to. We talked about this, the casino feel of the archetype itself. And Zabu, guys, is going to make 2 cards. We talked about it. Hellcow, Ghost Rider become 2 cost drops, and that just massively opens up things. Now, Hella is definitely going to get a bit more love to take away the RNG, but things that even like a Lockjaw discard is going to be much more dependable. And you can throw in Silver Surfer in there. And so I like discard as an early option of an archetype that people seem to love. But honestly, my true answer, Alex, is he makes every archetype better, and it's still early on. But I'll tell you my favorite deck here in a moment. But for you, what's your favorite archetype that he's kind of fitting in right now, or deck?
All right, so I got to be honest with you. My favorite by far has been any combination of Zabu with the hand big size generation of Devil Dinosaur.
Oh yeah.
We always talk about how Devil Dinosaur is good. Like, we know Devil Dinosaur is good. I feel like me and you always talk about Devil Dino. Is everyone just sleeping on Devil Dino? Like, I don't understand. It's such a good card. So I've been running Devil Dinosaur mainly because like it just works wonderfully with Moon Girl. It works well with obviously the White Queen, who's a tremendously high-powered card. You also get some scouting information from your opponent, but it all just feeds into that Devil Dinosaur, both being 4-cost cards. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And like I think that large hand size style deck just works magically with Zabu. There's so many 4 costs that you can play. And then you can follow it up. Like I was playing with Drax. I was playing with, I mean, my favorite list runs Super Scroll and a Tuma because like it's just value. Like Atuma is a huge value, can hold a lane by itself. And then you have Super Scroll. If they like rogue your Zabu, it doesn't even matter. You still get the effect because Super Scroll's just sitting there.
That's
And you're like,
awesome.
LOL, what up? And when they play their own Zabu, you're just laughing your ass off all the way to the bank, my friend. So like it is such a good card. I think Super Scroll really found itself right now.
I don't have Super Scroll or a Tuma, man. So
Oh,
I'm,
buddy,
I'm
you're
jealous.
missing out.
Oh, I want a Tuma for so many different deck builds. But I agree with Devil Dinosaur. It was the first one I tried. Literally the first Zabu deck I had was a Devil Dinosaur deck just from the different options. A, at a 4-cost drop, but B, just trying to pair that up with Moon Girl is the obvious, like, wow, that's going to work out pretty dang well. And even my boy, Agent Coulson, I finally got him in a poll, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to start kind of mixing them all together. And Agent Coulson gives you cards. One of them's a 4-cost drop. So you're getting like a random, like, hey, let's see how you can incorporate this into the game. Devil Dinosaur, I think, has so many deck builds around it. That's what makes it fun. And I think Zabu fits in very well with it. Definitely friendly, too, for the early Pool 3 players.
I'm jealous, man. I wish I had Coulson. That's a card. I see it. I'm like, oh, I want it so bad. But I'm not going to spend 3,000 on it. I can't spend 3,000. I know I can't. But I want it so bad.
He's got some of the best variants in the game, but his base art looks like he is a D-list actor hired at a front of a like knockoff Charlie Angels movie. It is his base card I'm not loving. I'd rather the Loki spear stabbed in his chest than his base art. Like I don't know. Not great.
Yeah, this looks like some like 007 style, but like budget 007
yeah,
style.
like let's be spies, at prom, I don't know. It's something else. But yeah,
Where's my red tie?
Yeah. Devil Dinosaur, though, is solid. A good deck. Definitely one that I'm glad you brought up. I'll tell you what deck I'm playing with, and I'm going to make a video on it, and I think that it's going to continue to rise, with some of the new cards that we talk about that are coming out this month. But by far, my most played deck at the moment, in Def Guide coming later this week, is going to be a toxic kind of zero blend deck. And
I'm interested. Talk to me.
I actually wasn't planning on talking about it today, because I was going to do the in-depth guide, but let's do it. So this is not it. I'm sorry. It's this one, and this is called the Zero Zabu, and I've been trying to tweak it and make it work. I've got things like Century that I've plugged in there. I do have that card unlocked with Viper, and there's a bunch of builds you can make off of it. This has been my favorite deck for consistency and what's in the meta right now. So you've got Zero. Obviously, you can use that in any of the later turns. You don't have to have them in the deck. Hazmat Luke Cage, fantastic. Luke Cage getting much better now that Typhoid Mary's a cheaper play at 210. And then you've got Wong to Hazmat. That's only 2. So that's a crazy bonkers option as well. You have Black Panther to go off Wong that you can Arnim Zola for that win condition. Taskmaster's in here. If you don't have Jubilee, I just slotted her in there. And then Shuri to go ahead and have a massive bomb for only 2 power. So there's so much power with this deck that if you pull Zabu, you're going to pretty much win. You've got Enchantress in there to help you out and go and affect the enemy. As a Zero deck, man, this thing slaps. And I've been climbing truly better than any season. I've been climbing with this deck this season to start us out.
I'm looking at your Shuri, and I'm just like so upset.
I'm
so it has eluded me. I don't even see it in the shop, man. I think I'm cursed. I think I'm absolutely cursed with Shuri. I can't find it. I want to buy it. I can't. It just doesn't show up.
Yeah,
I miss it. I don't know.
I feel like this deck does the best for Shuri, right? Because on turn 4, I play Wong, then Shuri into Wong, and then I can play Black Panther into that, and Black Panther's a billion. Just a billion power. And then you can Arnim Zola that, you can Taskmaster that. It's so hard to stop. There's not a lot of ways to stop it, Alex. And so this is my favorite deck with him. And I'll have, again, the in-depth guide about toxic decks in general, and I'll throw this in there. Already did a Zero deck, and Sauron's going to help it out even more, so excited for that. But give me another one that you like. I have one more, but give me another one you like, Alex.
I'm just going to say, I actually think that you're about to make Shang-Chi absolutely meta with this type of list, man. Oh my God. Do you really need to Wong Shuri? Like, is that totally necessary? Like, is a 530 just not big enough for you with Red Skull? Like, man,
I want my red cue ball. I want him just skyrocket, man. I want 60.
You love this variant, eh?
Ah, dude, I do. I'm not a big on the chibis. I have a couple of them, but this one, it's like, how can I not? Yeah, but his base is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so good. I actually pulled a Misty Knight chibi that I think is super nice too.
Ooh,
there's a Misty Knight one that's really spicy. Keep your eye out for it. It's nice. You like it.
I've been lucky enough to have like the Luke Cage boxer. We have a Typhoid Mary Venom. Like I've had some cool Zero variants, including this one. This is one of my favorites. It's a Zero guys holding up a 0 out of 10. Fantastic. Anyway, so the Zero deck is great. Alex, give me another deck that you like.
I think people want to know about how to actually counter Zabu. I think it's really important that we do that. And one of the main ways, and we talked about it prior on Cozy's channel, was we got to eat. Sandman's a major counter. However, kind of utilizing Sandman to good effectiveness can be a little tricky. And so I've been testing over the last few days how to effectively counter Zabu, and I'm actually going to be releasing a full guide on this video as well. Look at that, Cozy. You and I releasing guides. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, Cozy?
Look at us.
So keep an eye out on the channels, both of our channels, for those guides coming out. But basically, this list, it utilizes, I'll read it out for the audio viewers. Basically, we got Iceman, we got Psylocke, and Psylocke's important because Psylocke will go out on 2 and allow you to play Sandman on turn 3 by giving you the extra energy, which counters Zabu because it prevents Zabu from going out on 3, then playing 2 cards on 4 while you're trying to get your Sandman out. And then what you got is you got Invisible Woman, and this is important because Invisible Woman combos exceptionally well with Kingpin, who's a major part of this deck list. From there, you got Polaris Maximus, we got Rescue, and Vision. Cozy, are you excited I included Vision here?
Look at you, man. I like it. I like it.
I took out Captain Marvel for your boy Vision because Captain Marvel I can't have flying around with Kingpin. But anyways,
I was gonna say someone's gonna put that Vision into their Kingpin too on turn 6 and just nuke them accidentally. But yeah, I like it's awesome.
And then we got the Arrow, the America Chavez, and Magneto. And the core thing here is, listen, if you're going to play a whole bunch of 4s, that's fine, do it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drag your 4s into an absolute murder casino as Kingpin punches them all into absolute obliteration with my boy Magneto. But I think this one, from a straight up like, listen, I don't have Zabu and I want to counter Zabu, I think this might be the one that works for me the best. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about it, Cozy.
Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I think, first of all, I love the Kingpin interaction. I mean, with Kingpin, the biggest thing about him, right, is making sure that they don't play cards on that lane too quickly, too early. So Sandman is just a natural synergy there. And if I'm being honest, too, even if Zabu was in this deck, it would work pretty well, too, because Zabu naturally with control is just so good. And so if you do like a Spider-Man and you continue to like keep your your Kingpin lane protected, it's great. And this is also solid. I love that you have America Chavez, I feel like, in all your decks, Alex. And she,
dude, I love Chavez. It's like a safety blanket for me.
Yeah, right.
But it's such a good card, man. It's such a good card.
Yeah, I will use Chavez always to push down. With Magneto, maybe could be the first out here, but I get the dependable. Like if you have Sandman, you just need that extra power. You can definitely see that as well. I like it, and that goes into like control with Zabu. This is one of the ones I'm running here. By the way, talk about
yeah, that's a great variant. For anyone that is, so for the audio viewers, Cozy has a Kingpin variant. It looks like basically the man's in Florida. He's wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt. He's got himself a martini in his hand. He's holding a golden flip phone, and this guy looks as the definition of unapproachable.
Heaven's waiting room. He's chilling in Florida. This was my free one I got with the Game of the Year variant, and I was like, I'll take it. Like, absolutely. But yeah, I've got.
It looks like he's in the Boca Vista.
No, right? I've got a Kingpin deck though with Zabu that I've been running with Control. I think Control, it's really like main staple cards and then other just good cards to go with it. But Kingpin has been something I've always ran in seasons to make him work. And with Absorbing Man being so cheap to get double arrow action, that's where I'm finding the best use for Kingpin myself. And then again, the Spider-Man to protect it. I even have Daredevil to kind of see what they're doing on that turn 5 to either lock it down or control. And then even Valkyrie, dude. This is a great deck I've been using.
It's a good list, dude.
It's fun.
I like it.
It's fun. And then you got
this is a good list. I like anytime I see Daredevil, I get excited. This is a great list.
Thanks, man. I've perfected it since I've put the video out on it, and it's been a lot of fun. It's definitely not like first play friendly. You got to get used to how it works. But dude, you've got 4 costs out the wazoo. Rescue doesn't have to be in there, but she's probably the first out if you don't have her. But I like Zabu with control. So lastly, the archetype I want to say that I think is just great with Zabu, Alex, is ongoing. I think just he's an ongoing card, and to add to that, we talked about Omega Red. We're not going to go down that list again, but it's one that I've been running, and I've got a new brew that I've been working on myself. But I think that's another one to mention. And then clearly, again, everyone's going to talk about it. Sarah, double the discount, and it works. I think he works in there as well. Do you have any other decks to highlight?
Honestly, those have been the 2 that I've been playing the most. I did like design and work on some other lists, but ultimately, I do really like the Devil Dinosaur one. Like, I think one thing I really like from a deck design standpoint is like, yeah, listen, Cozy, we get super obsessed with the crazy combos. We get really into all those like really complex play patterns. But at the end of the day, if you can find a really high powered list that has a very straightforward like piloting strategy that just bangs and wins games. That's really what I'm looking for, man. And I love it. I feel like I found that in the Devil Dino list. And I do have I honestly I watching your control list, I'm like, man, I think I gotta play this.
Oh, it's
I
fun.
think I think you're dude, I think I'm converted on that control list. It is spicy. But the absorbing man into Spider-Man, we just finished talking about that absolute toxicity. How can you be doing that to people? You want people to uninstall this game, Cozy? What are you
It's
doing, man?
it's
You're
it's
supposed to be you're supposed to be like kind of like an ambassador for Marvel Snap. You're gonna make dudes uninstall with
I
that.
don't play
You know
leader.
that.
That's my contribution.
Okay,
I don't play
go
leader.
leader.
I never play leader. There's my contribution. Leech. I wasn't a part of that either. All right. So that was my good man cape, and now I want to be the villain a bit. But yeah, Devil Dinosaur's fun. The only thing I was finding with him is that Enchantress is a little hot right now. So that was like my one kind of fear with him. But yes, again, Zabu he works in so many decks, and that's why I love the card, man. Excited to see how it flushes out after week 1.
Honestly, I don't see it going away. Like, so in the past, like when we had Black Panther, right? Black Panther was hot for like the 4 days. And then it's like, okay, Black Panther Zola, we get it. Compared to Black Panther, Silver Surfer was like God tier. If you go back, I told you Black Panther was not good. And you're like, bro, this is the best card ever. You didn't say that, but you were like way higher in Black Panther. I was way lower. And I might just say, buddy, I think I was a little closer to what was actually accurate. Oh, look at you pulling out the. I know I saw him in your list. I still think you're a little high on him. But what I'm trying to say is like Black Panther was kind of like a bit of a fizzle in the pan from a season pass perspective. And then you had Silver Surfer, which like honestly still is good. Is still good.
Oh yeah.
Zabu continues the legacy of just being good.
Yeah, it's like Miles.
Yeah, I think
Black
Zabu's
Panther,
better than
Silver.
100%,
Zabu.
dude.
100%.
100%. Like they're just good cards.
Yeah, and they're good cards because hey, what did I say? I think I said 3-0 on that video, but 3 cost cards are just like they're the midway point of the game, right? So like they just have a lot, or they're half of the energy on turn 6. They're just like impactful cards, and that's what they all have in common. Silver Surfer, Zabu, and Mystique even being another one, just crazy card, right? 3 cost cards are pretty solid. So, well, Alex, with that season pass talk, let's go ahead and talk about this month's season pass: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Alex, I think there's a lot to break down here. I don't know about you, but I made a video on my season pass review and went through all the different things, what they have, what's included. The first thing that jumped out, and again, you're getting stuff for free for just playing the game. Fantastic. The change that needs to happen is number 1, titles. They're fine. They're fine. They're whatever. I don't want them as a reward. You know, I don't think they do anything for anybody. What I want to see is collector tokens, and this is the cheap shot, easy, but they've got to throw them in there. That's what was lacking the most for me. It was, Zabu's the whole reason you're getting the pass. But you got to see collector tokens in here. They've got to address that. It's an easy fix to the economy for whales and free to play, dude.
Even if it's like only paid to start. Like I get it if it's part of the paid track. Like I totally get it. I feel like it has to be there. Like I think you're right, man. And it's so easy for us as content creators to be like, hey, what's everyone going to agree with? What are we going to do to get everyone to smash that like button? Let's complain about collector's tokens, right? Like it's kind of the low hanging fruit. Like it's so easy, but at the same time, like I was actually super surprised it wasn't in the paid one. I did not expect him in the free one, but not in the paid one either. I was like, oh man, no. Now like I felt like it had to be there. I think you're 100% right, man. I think it's the biggest misplay of I actually don't mind the titles. I don't mind the titles.
No, I think they're fine. Just don't have them replace a variant or replace another reward.
I agree 100%. Those can't be replaced.
The titles are fun. I love the titles. You can only rock 1 though. So when you have your collection, like in 6 months from now, man, like 100 titles, like no one's gonna want to be like look through that, right? That's my main thought. And you guys, I go back on most of these videos. I think I'm in defensive second dinner 95% of the time. I really see where they're coming from. In fact, for my season pass review, like I was kind of forced to. I had to. I needed to say something because it just felt weird. It felt like it was unaddressed, and maybe it was the holiday. Maybe they didn't have time to, I don't know, figure it out. But that was my first complaint. And by the way, just before I go into my second complaint, I think the pass is fine. The resources are there. It's a good value. Zabu. So with Zabu, he is going to flush out to be okay. He'll be fine. He'll fit in there. I just feel like I don't want the season pass to be worth it because of the card, being a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, whatever you want to rate Zabu. If you want to rate him below that, you're just wrong. I'm sorry. He's a 9 or 10 out of 10. I'm not going to call him broken or busted. He's a 9 or 10 out of 10 card. I want more of a 7 or 8 out of 10. And then the resources is what kind of makes up for it. No matter what, people are going to complain. It's going to happen. I'm not getting the resources. There's too many resources. There's not enough. But I do think the card, we talked about this, Alex, for a while. I just want the card to be a card that adds some flavor, but isn't too crazy. If he was a pool 5 card, that's fine. He's hard for everybody, or pool 4, whatever. That's another discussion, but that's my thought.
It kind of reminds me, okay, so back in the day, I know this seems like a wild example, but I used to play Heroes of the Storm all the time. Okay, all the time. Heroes of the Storm. And that team would always release the most overtuned heroes, and everyone's like, I gotta buy this hero, I gotta buy. Like, it was crazy how much excitement was just over how overtuned the new thing was. And then sure enough, like a week after it launched, it'd get like dropped, like a heavy hammered nerf. So like, I don't want to sound like kind of like devil's advocate, but like, I actually don't mind that they release something that might be a little heavy-handed, just to maybe sell an extra bundle. I don't know. Maybe that's not the popular thing to say.
I thought you were mainly against that. Like, I thought that the cards getting better was something that you didn't want to see. And that's fine. I actually love this.
I know. I'm trying to watch my words because that's listen, I think it's good for the game that every single season people have a reason to be excited. And I think that like something like a card that really shakes things up, that actually has legitimate impact. I didn't feel it in the Black Panther season. We even had a movie launch with it. I didn't feel the hype. I didn't feel it because the card wasn't good enough. Silver Surfer was good enough. People got excited. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I did a poll about before, how many people were buying the season pass, and it was barely over 50% were buying the season pass. This month, it's closing in on 60%.
Yeah, so I will say what I do like about Zabu, and I liked about Black Panther, and I like about Silver Surfer, hell, Miles, is that they do work across pools. Like, they do open up cards across pools. Like Zabu, man, look at Moon Girl, the Devil Dinosaur, like right then and there. Pool 1, have fun. That's a great card to have. So there's that argument, and I also will always stand behind that there are a million decks that can beat a million decks. So it's just, there's not like a broken card. I guess just for me, for those that are strictly free to play, it's just something that, if it's a 10 out of 10 card, we have to see how he kind of settles in. It's just, I would probably rather stick around a card that's really good in some, specific builds. But yeah, definitely can see both standpoints, but that was more of the one I have. I do want to talk about the good, though. The variants, man. What comes to your mind when you look at a loincloth Khazar?
It probably is the strongest in terms of overall art style. Yeah, I think it probably is the strongest. I still like my Archer. No one's going to take Archer away from me. But I do think these are excellent. They're absolutely excellent. There's no question about it. They're beautiful cards.
And if you're in pool 1 or 2 and you buy this, you get Storm for free, dude. Or just a guaranteed unlock a Storm. Like, talk about a great card to get, off the bat. But yeah, so I think the good, the resources are there. That's fine. I think the cards are fine. I want to see one variant return, and I want to see collector tokens come on in. And if they can do that, then I won't even be too mad about the cards. But I think it's good. And I've always been on the other side of the fence, so it takes a lot for me to be like, maybe they should reconsider this. And I understand they need to make money and all that too, but I wanted to.
Yeah, usually I'm the one that's devil's advocate. Like you generally are super, super positive. I mean, I think we know that. But I think you're right, man. You bring up a super valid concern. I mean, someone's got to say it. Like it's a really valid concern.
Yeah, events I think would be great, or things like around the season pass, like I play with the Khazar and help and get, not like the ones that are there now, but the ones they'll introduce in the future. But my man, do we want to talk about what came with the Savage Land video and Ben Brode in his furry coat? They announced it. I was actually surprised it came kind of in this video as a sneak peek.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised too. I wasn't expecting it.
And they said it will be coming towards the end of January. Battle mode is coming to Marvel Snap, and they showed a clip, and the UI looks fantastic. The battle mode looks fantastic. There's a few things that I'm hoping gets tweaked out a bit, but even at the beginning of a launch, this is going to change Marvel Snap more than any card could or anything could. And I think we're going to watch the game explode now with this coming to the game.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before. This is like the equivalent of the 1.0 launch. Like the ability to have tournaments, the ability to have 1v1s, that added kind of fun with friends is huge. when that was announced, my buddy, who's like a very casual player, but still he literally only plays Heimdall move decks. It's all he does. He doesn't care about any other card in the game. He just wants to play Heimdall move decks. He's hilarious. He's like, I can't wait to 1v1 you and embarrass you. I'm like, okay. I have 1400 collection level. I'm gonna beat you 10 out of 10 times. He's so confident, and I can't wait to actually lose to him. It's fine. But anyways, the idea here is that like it creates excitement. People want to play together. Like we talked about the social system being so important. And this is like kind of the first step towards that. It's a social element. But like tournaments, man, the tournaments.
Dude, it's a major step because you're solving so many issues. You're solving losing rank with decks you want to try out. You're solving wanting to challenge your friends and thinking you're better players than them and having fun. And it's never mind adulthood, schools and whatever. Like people going against each other with their decks, right? That fun, community that is from card games. And then you're also opening up tournaments. And then you're doing casual a huge favor, and then competitive. Not just a huge favor, but the launch of competitive in Marvel Snap truly with tournaments coming to the game. And guys, my gosh, I've been working on something for a long time, and I'll announce it here pretty soon. That's going to be all around this, and this is where my heartbeat is for the game, and I am so excited to see what is to come with the esports of it all, with just tournaments altogether, seeing the best builds. Now, I do want to see kind of how it works out. Like right now, you can bring in one deck, and you go up against each other, and your cubes are your health, and you kind of go and trickle down. I believe if the math checks out, it's 19 battles this can go on for. If it's 1-1, 1-1, and you keep trading back and forth. But if that's the case, I'm curious about like the length of the battles. If you look on the video, like down below, it's like retreat option, kind of like you're done. You just you think you're gonna lose or win. I want to see kind of more decks being brought. We have to see how it's established. But even the simpleness of having a code, sending it to your buddy or sending it to a streamer and having them compete is such a cool thing. And it's the best thing to come to this game so far.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, it opens up so much. It's almost like an impromptu kind of unranked mode, by the way. Like if I want to test the deck and me and you just go against each other, like it works, right? It kind of does that kind of thing. But like it really does open up the game. And remember, I think people are sleeping on how important a potential competitive scene in Marvel Snap is. When we talk about esports, so listen, there are games out there that like really force feed like, oh, we're an esport. Like that's not what this is. This game, again, how many times have I said that this game has learned so many lessons from games prior? These games are snappy, no pun intended. These games are fast-paced. The turns happen at the same time. And like that creates like opportunities for like incredible moments that cannot be achieved in other games. Like board states in like other games like Hearthstone, Runeterra, and others, they're much more like static, and one guy's going, the other guy's going, and it's fine. But like with this, you're playing at the same time. The games are fast and it's chaotic. And I think that like from a viewer perspective, like that, okay, listen, we talk about RNG and stuff, but that chaos is what's going to like cause people to embrace this competitive scene. Anything can happen. No game is ever truly lost. And my only concern is the retreating. It's the retreating, Cozy. It's my only real concern because like we talked about how retreating can be very like, listen, it's strategic. And when you're playing competitive, it is like an incredibly important skill. But from a viewership perspective, I think, especially in competitive, the retreating could become a very much like, oh.
Well, they can retreat. They can retreat at the end of the battle, right? So like when they lose, I think that'll be used more for like if I have 3 health left and you have 8, why carry on, right? And yet maybe you could come back. I get it. That's kind of the fun part. Maybe even a worse split than that. But yeah, I think when unranked mode comes, I think that'll go away altogether. Maybe it's there. I don't know if we can see enough from down below, but I think you absolutely nailed it when you're talking about the hype and the potential. I think this game is off the charts for the moments, right? And esport just conversation and watching and enjoyment. The games are quick, like you said, snappy. So you're getting plays happening. If something dramatic happens, right, it's on to the next one. Not a big deal. Now with that, what's going to be crazy, because what I'd like to see is I would like to see 3 decks, and maybe you can ban one of your opponent's decks and they can use 2 of them, something like that. Right now it's 1 deck that you can go up against. What blows my mind is, and they say this in the video, is that you're going to be able to know what your opponent has, right? So you can anticipate their plays a lot better. That's going to be interesting, and it's going to completely change how this kind of works. Now, if you do multiple decks, then we're not going to see the same stale meta, I think. But with 1 deck, it's going to be interesting because I'm gonna know you have that Doctor Doom coming out, and I can play around that for my next turn. What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting because like it creates almost like this grudge match. It's like in the sports. I know we love sports and like in the NHL, for instance, it's a best of 7 series. And when you get to that game 7, there is so much rivalry that's been built. There's so much hate, so much anger. The hits are harder because guys are just pissed off at each other. Like it ramps up. It just ramps up and the game changes. And I think that you're going to see a very similar thing with Marvel Snap. You just face this guy, you're facing him again, and you know the deck he's using, you know his strategy, you know his play style, and suddenly it becomes much more of a mental game, which I know you love. It's a totally different game.
And that's why, honestly, quite honestly, I think like move decks control. Some of these are going to be a bit more impactful in competitive play when you're going up against each other so many times. Because when you have the same on reveal combo, guess what, dude? You're not going to fall for it all the time. Or if you have the draw luck you're looking for, I think deck building is going to change pretty vastly. Now, things are going to flush out. People are going to see the better things to use. But when you have something like a vision, you can damn near do whatever you want with that vision. I think vision, these cards you can control, Nightcrawler even, will be more imperative because they have just more variance of plays, more mind game action, Mysterio. These are the cards I think when you play the same deck, a majority of times are going to rise up a bit over than the usual. And we're going to have to see how it flushes out. But I am damn excited for not only what Marvel Snap is doing, but for what the community is going to do with this. And, I think everybody's going to be trying to do their own thing, and I think that's great for community, but I'm excited to see the big picture of it all and collaborations and everything like that.
Oh, absolutely. And let's not forget something, Cozy. And it's something you brought up last week, I think. This game's only been out for, is it 2 years with all the development they've done? No, wait, it's been out since October 18th.
Yeah.
Let's not forget how much this game's evolving as fast as it is. We're still in like the infant stages of this game, guys. Like, how exciting is this? Like, when we look at those development roadmaps, like they are nailing so many complex, challenging, like elements to making this game better. And this is the next logical step. And so when the 1v1 battle mode comes out, what's their next play?
Exactly.
That's what I'm most excited about. What's the next thing? What do they do?
It's so
I want to
exciting.
see that added development. I want to see what this game looks like 5 years from now. I think we're gonna have an amazing game on our hands. Amazing.
Sorry,
we're
go ahead.
seeing it.
I am damn excited for Snapchat in December, right? We're doing like the year overview, and just to see what this game, this community, everything is kind of flushed out to be. 100% agree. They even say it in the video. They said 2022 was great. 2023 is going to be better, right? And we're like, whoa, okay. Big words. And it is new. So new. And I'm glad that even if this isn't flushed out all the way, first of all, my hype's 10 out of 10. You can do nothing about it. There's no negativity about this game mode. But they got it out quickly, too. And that's what was important, too. I think, like, get it out, have fun with the battling, and see where this evolves. I think on the video they show Squirrel Girl versus Galactus. I'm like, what was that? What was that bit? But yeah, man, this is just the start.
Listen, I'm still trying to catch up with my lore, but I think that might have been a little tidbit from the lore. I believe Squirrel Girl is one of the few to have beaten Galactus.
Hey-o.
I think.
Hey-o.
I'm not 100% sure.
Dropping the knowledge. Look at you. I would say, what, a few weeks ago, Alex, I barely think you knew who Iron Man was. And now look at you fly. Look at you. I love
I'm trying, but every day I'm reading comics, man. I'm working on it. I actually was talking to my wife. I was like, I could get an iPad or something. I don't have an iPad. I'm like, I could get an iPad or something so I can read these comics better. Phone's too damn small.
Yes, absolutely. Well, man, exciting times ahead, exciting topics ahead, and we just got an awesome month of January to go, guys. The Snapchat, you can depend on it every single week. We do, and we love it, and we thank you guys so much. If you do enjoy it, you can help us out massively for free by just leaving a review if you're listening to this on a podcast. If you're not, go over there. It helps us out a ton as we continue to grow and mold this podcast. And again, a huge thank you for both Alex and I for coming here each week and allowing us to have this.
Absolutely, guys. And for those that are watching on video, right here, you got Cozy's video, so be sure to check that. And also down in the description below, we have the download links that you guys can get involved on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, wherever you might want to be. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next Snapchat episode.
Bye.